What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman and Ben Rasa here for Awesemo.com, and we are back with the breakfast menu served up by BetMGM, where you can turn big plays into paydays using the promo code Awesemo, where you can get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. Just make a deposit using that promo code and place your first wager. If it loses, you will receive the amount of your wager back in free bets. So now you can go all in on the action with the king of sportsbooks. Terms and conditions apply. Now hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because we are closing out the work week in style. We're going back to college football.
How could we not? Yesterday was far from perfect, but you know what? Ohio State rallied, and depending on where you got that number, they did get the job done, won by 14. So at worst, it should have been a push because there were 14s and there were 13s and a half out there. Snuck that in. UCF did not cover, very close. They had a 100-yard interception for a touchdown. That was the backbreaker early in that game. They're on the 1-yard line and blew it. But they did win, which I was happy to see. You didn't lose because your game was Saturday.
I got leftovers. That's the new
nothing
term.
Wrong with that. I respect that. I know you found another one. I'm going to lead us off here because I have one game for the Friday slate, which is tonight. So if you're looking for a little action before Saturday, this is one I actually really like. We've got another Big Ten matchup, just like we did yesterday. Michigan State going into Northwestern. The spread has dropped. Northwestern is now just a 3-point favorite. It looks like there's some 3.5s out there. I'm going to say, you know what? Forget the points. Give me plus 140. Michigan State to get the job done outright. I don't even need the points. If you want to be conservative, take the points. Michigan State's a team. They were going through a coaching transition, and the scheme was changing. A lot of moving parts. I actually was somewhat impressed with what they showed late in the year. Last year, they had some pretty decent wins. They, snuck up on Michigan, and they just looked more competent. The core of that team returns, and that's the theme of college football in general because of COVID. Everyone's got that eligibility. You're gonna have a million teams saying, "Oh, we returned 20 starters. It's great. Everyone's coming back." Michigan State's one of those teams. The one team who's not is Northwestern. They only return 8 starters. They lose a ton from a really, really good team, some first-round picks, some big-time players. If that wasn't bad enough, their running back, incredible player, Cam Porter, out for the year. They lost a lineman out for the year. So they're even thinner than imagined. This is basically a completely revamped team across the board. I have so many question marks. They lost guys that are irreplaceable, some guys that are playing on Sunday at this point. To me, this is a straight toss-up game at best. I think Michigan State is the better team. I'm going to jump on this line. I think the market is kind of seeing what I'm seeing because the spread is going down. Michigan State tonight pulls the upset that I don't even view as an upset to win 1 strip of bacon. No, I'm going to lay a strip of bacon to win 1.4 strips of bacon. That's how I roll. Let's go Spartans.
I have very little to add other than I generally cheer against Michigan State for all things. But I will cheer for your money for right now.
Oh, yeah. I like them in basketball a little. Not the biggest fan of their football team, but this is a spot worth attacking.
Speaking of spots worth attacking, 1 strip of bacon on Clemson -3 against Georgia. So last year, Georgia, number 26 offense in FEI, 12th in defense. Clemson, 11th in offense, 3rd in defense. This year, pretty exciting. Projected, Georgia 13 in offense, Clemson 4. Georgia number 2 in defense, Clemson 1. So we are getting a matchup between arguably the number 1 and number 2 defenses in the country. Both quarterbacks have initials for first name, and both quarterbacks should see their names around the Heisman list when the season ends, based on the fact that I expect Georgia and Clemson to both be fantastic. Seems outlandish to think about it given his record as a starter, but it's possible that Clemson doesn't even skip a beat not having Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, which is kind of crazy to think about given he's like one of the most successful college quarterbacks ever. Meanwhile, Daniels looked great after being named the starter last year. I think he had like 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the 4 starts that he got once he was named starter. Georgia being without Tyke Smith is really important to me. He's one of the best corners in the nation last year, not available, picked up an injury in fall camp. And I think that really matters in this spot. Just having like an anchor as a corner is really helpful. Ultimately, I'm going to back Clemson here. I think the offensive line holds up enough for the Tigers, and they get out of Charlotte with the W.
Neutral field game. Very, very interesting. The spread has dropped a little. Clemson -3. We don't talk about our picks in these videos beforehand. Clemson -3. I like them a lot. I'm going to add on to what you talked about. All right. Trevor Lawrence is gone. Travis Etienne is gone. They bring in DJ Uiagalelei. We saw him last year. He went into Notre Dame and he played absolutely fantastic in that game. This is not like a CJ Stroud from last night with Ohio State. What are we going to get? We know what we're going to get. This guy obviously is good. He's got some experience. Yeah. JT Daniels is going to be very solid on the other side. Clemson brings in a 5-star running back, Will Shipley. He's going to be fantastic. They bring back Justin Ross, who T. Higgins clone. He was out for the entire year last year, so that's an additional starter. Their entire defensive line is back. It's the best defense in the country, in my opinion. You mentioned Tyke Smith. The more important thing to me, Georgia is without four pass catchers in this offense. They are missing Pickens and Gilbert and Blaylock and Darnell Washington. I thought they were going to try to use a lot of tight end personnel. Well, that's out the window because none of those guys are there. They're going to have serious problems on the outside. Now, they have a running back core that is the best in the country. If they run it down Clemson's throat, they can absolutely win this game. If they cannot, Clemson has the massive advantage in their secondary versus whoever is left for the Georgia pass catchers. So I lean to Clemson kind of on both sides of the ball. I think if Georgia was healthy, me and Matt Gajewski all offseason talked about this game. We were both kind of in the camp of Georgia. The tide has turned. They are very banged up. They're one of the few teams that comes in with a lot of question marks. I'm going to tail you with that. I think that Clemson at -3, I'm very stunned to see this line dropping. I'm going to jump on it at this number, and I do think they escape Charlotte with a big win.
Look at you and me. Look at the synergy.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I see exactly what you're saying, and I think that Georgia right now is really in an uncomfortable situation to start the season.
It is really fun, whether people believe it or not. Like, we legitimately do not talk about this stuff before it starts. So it's really exciting when we're on the same side. I hope you're going to join us for this one. Again, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, notification bell, all that good stuff. Shout out to BetMGM. We're going to take a break for the next 2 days. I assume we're back on Monday. No holidays for us, but we shall see. We'll be talking baseball, I'm sure, on Monday. We've got the NFL. What'd you say?
Yeah, we got them covered. No doubt about it.
NFL fast approaching, too. We got a lot to talk about here on the breakfast menu served up by BetMGM. Have a good weekend, everybody.